everybody.
Hello there.
Hi, Dave.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
I got my nails back, and I'm so happy. I could actually play an instrument now. Oh man, I was just so used to using these nails that I couldn't play with a pick or with my finger anymore. Like it felt awful, and I haven't gone to the nail place in so long because of I don't want to die and all that. So
What a weenie.
It's all in how you say it.
Yeah. So, but I finally, they set up all these glass partitions, and they have everybody's, it looked really, really safe. So I figured give it a shot, and looks like I survived it, and I got my nails back. So far, so good.
And the rest is history.
That's right. That's right. You'd be amazed, or maybe you wouldn't, like how much you get used to using a certain tool, and then when you don't have it, it's like you're lost. I barely even played guitar this whole time. It's been awful. So yeah, but feeling better. Everything's back to normal. Well, almost everything. So we'll give everybody a couple more minutes to sort of drizzle in, see what happens here.
Okay.
This is our in-depth class where we talk about anything that you want to in detail. Maybe play a little music, maybe not. We'll see what happens. If you wish to exclusively play music, there are 3 other classes, as you guys know. Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, where we pretty much only play music. I'm also thinking, tell me what you guys think of this. This is our talking class. It occurs to me that I don't know where anybody is in their musical journey. So at this moment, I really haven't heard many of you play except David and maybe Nancy once or twice. And I'd kind of like to know where everybody's at, if there's anybody who might need to, I don't know, if like maybe a majority of you guys need extra help or something like that, or I don't want to leave anybody behind. So what I was thinking of doing is letting people do maybe the opening part of the song, or whatever they feel comfortable doing. Does that make sense? Like, or maybe letting someone do a whole song if that's what they want to do. That's fine with me, just to see where everybody's at. Musically, 1 or 2 people for every class we have, or is that, you think, too much, putting people on the spot? What do you think?
Depends on who wants to do it.
Right. I'm not going to make it a requirement. So, if some people want to do it, I guess then it's okay, right? So that's probably what I'll do. I might start tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Because my mother was asking me, how's everybody doing? I said, I don't know. I have no idea. How am I supposed to know how everybody's doing? But that's a good point. She teaches the beginner class, and she has people just play for a minute or two, just to see how they're doing, where they're at. I mean, I assume almost everybody is close to being able to play all the songs, at least, and if they weren't, they should be here. That's the point. Yeah, we'll see. Vicky won't be able to join us for the Monday class for a while. Unfortunately, her daughter was injured. She's okay, but she tore her Achilles tendon, I think.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so Vicky's gonna be doing some babysitting for a while.
Mm.
Sorry
Yeah.
to hear that.
Yeah, I'll let her know. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, especially during this time period, to have another injury on top of
Right.
that. is that's just really it's rough. So, you know, we're all thinking about her, and but she's not going to be able to join us on Monday classes for the foreseeable future. So, but she watches them all. So, hi Vicky, we're thinking about you. How you doing?
Hi, Vicky.
Yeah.
Oh, Vicky is here.
Oh no, she's gonna watch the video though. She watches all the videos. So
Oh, the video.
yeah. So I uploaded them. I haven't uploaded yours yet, David, only because I'm not 100% sure how to cut an hour off of the video. So I have to have my sister. She does video editing, my sister. So I'm gonna have her help me with that because I just don't know how to do it. And otherwise, people are gonna have to jump through an hour of silence. And I think I might have picked up some of you and your wife talking, and
Oh, that's possible.
and you know, so I don't want to post it. Who knows what was
I
being
don't think that there's anything that's going to get anyone in trouble.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'll just put it up as is and tell people to skip to a certain time in the video or something.
It's not especially interesting. I can tell you that. Believe me.
The reason that there's an extra hour is because what we did, I had a dentist appointment at 9:30. So at about 9 o'clock, David and I signed on together and I made him a host. The thing is, if either one of us signed off, he wouldn't have been a host anymore. So we had to leave the video running from 9 o'clock until 10. So there was an extra hour of basically just, overhearing what's going on in Dave's house. But, because I had my mic muted, so I don't think but there was nothing in here anyway. Nobody comes in my room.
It's a window.
Yeah, there's a window that you can't see through. All right, it looks like this is a safe bet for our class today. So welcome to our class. Basically, as I say in every one of these classes, we can go over anything you want to go over that's music related, or otherwise, whatever. I'm willing to talk about anything, but preferably music. And yeah, so I'll turn it over to you if you guys have any questions. And that could be, a piece of music you want to go over that maybe you're trying to play at home that you're having difficulty with, or some chords you want to go over, or some concepts like rhythm or music theory or whatever. It could be anything at all. So I turn it over to you. Jane, what do you got?
So I shut my book. My husband shut my book by mistake, so I can't tell you what song I was on.
Okay.
I continue to have trouble with, like, one of the stretches when you have your one finger, when you're trying to stretch, I can't reach. I can't.
Like between two frets, or like stretching from one fret to a third fret?
One to a third, 1 to 2, I'm okay on. I can work that out, but
okay. There's not a lot of, you shouldn't be stretching from one fret to a third fret, skipping a fret with your first and second finger. You should be using your, you should be using your third finger to do that.
Well, it's when it's like you're using one and then the other 3 fingers are over further. What is that? Is that an E? What is that?
Yeah. Oh.
That one, I can't.
And yeah, I know what you're saying now. Right. So if you're playing an E or an E flat, here's the thing though. So what she's saying is that she puts one finger here on, let's say, the 2nd fret, 1st string, and then another 3 fingers on the 4th fret, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string. The thing is, it's not really supposed to be played that way. Like, it's not really supposed to be played with 3 fingers like this. The best way to do it is with 1 finger. So either by using your 3rd finger to bar those 3, or the other way. I never play that shape ever when I'm playing ukulele. If you have something where, say, the top 3 strings are supposed to be pressed down like that, I just play the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string.
So that's what okay. So that's an okay thing to do, like,
yes,
even on the B flat. like sometimes I have trouble squishing my, like, I have trouble covering multiple strings at a time, although I'm really working hard at it. That's like
Yeah.
one of my goals
Yeah,
lately.
that,
So
that,
it's okay just to pay a portion of it.
yes, in any chord, if you want to play, let's say 3 of the string, a chord is only 3 notes, right? 2 notes is like sort of a harmony, but 3 notes is a chord.
3 notes is a chord.
Whoa, that was a weird echo. It's, wow, somebody's echoing back pretty strong there. Everybody make sure your volume isn't too high. All right, I think it's better now. So yeah, 2 notes is like, you know, a harmony. 3 notes is a chord. So what that means is if you're having trouble reaching one of the strings, you could cut it out. You really can. Most of the time, I know that sounds like a cop-out, but it's not really. Most of the time, if you're playing the other 3 notes, like even if you're playing, like let's take an E for example. So let's say you played that's on the 4th fret, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string. If you play those 3 notes, that's perfect. That's an E major. Let's say you even wanted to play the bottom 3 notes, which is the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd string of that chord. That's an E as well.
Yeah, it's getting that 4th finger, getting all 4 in place, and usually it's the 4th finger. So
Your pinky.
you know, that's the tough one. Okay, well then I will practice it that way. I know I do it on one other chord already, one of the B chords.
Yeah, it's probably
only
the B
play-
minor, the B
Is that
minor
it?
chord. Yeah, because a B flat, you're only barring 2 strings, and there's not really a lot of a stretch. That's a B flat here.
Yes.
But a B minor, you're barring basically the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd string.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit more difficult. I will say that even though it is okay to leave out one of the strings, you still should try to get that chord, practice that chord if you have time, you know. And if you find a song that has a stretch that's difficult for you, work on it. Really work on it.
Well, that's what I've been doing, and I'll continue to try, but I find that I'm dwelling too much on the one chord in the song.
Right.
I got to keep going so I can try, but then I'll just do it the other way, just so I keep moving and don't get upset so much.
Yeah, no, exactly. You want, and this is a good thing to talk about briefly too, is you want the instrument to be enjoyable to you, right? Like when you're playing, when you're trying to learn, you want to have fun with it. And sometimes when you're like working on one chord or one passage or one whatever, and you're having, oh my God, this is so hard, then it becomes very frustrating, right? And that's something that makes a lot of people give up on their instrument, you know, when they get to something that's either difficult or next to impossible for them. Take a break, man, if that happens, and go play some stuff that you know you're good at, that you know that you really enjoy playing. Maybe come back to that thing you're practicing that's really frustrating you tomorrow. You know, don't worry too much about it, and know that every time that you go back to it for a little while, you're going to get a little bit better at it and a little bit better at it. And someday you're going to go back to that difficult thing and you're going to play it. And now you're going to add that song to your roster of other songs that you can play. You know what I mean? But don't focus on it for too long. As Jane, like you just said, that could be very frustrating and very, it's annoying. It's annoying that I can't get it. Like, what is going wrong with me that I can't get this right now? You know?
Yeah, I know. I know. And I play the piano and it's like, why can't like, I could stretch to do the octave, but it's like, but when I'm trying to squish everybody together, and it's like, the little fat fingers aren't going there. So it's like tough.
Yeah, like that's funny you should say that, because that's one of the things, believe it or not, I have a little bit of a hard time on a piano, is stretching a whole octave, you know, between your thumb and your pinky.
Right.
And I could do it on guitar, right? So like, so it's opposite for me. But yeah. It doesn't make a ton of sense, you know, like you have that stretch, you have that ability to do that like this, but when you apply it to an instrument, you're also doing a bunch of other stuff. You know, you have to worry about placement, you have to worry about pushing down the right amount, you know, when you're on a stringed instrument, like you got to put the right amount of pressure and not pull the strings down, and you know, all that stuff. So it's a little bit more than just that stretch. But yeah, if you're playing an E, a B minor, even, really, you can just play the second, third, and fourth string. But try to bar that first, second, and third string with your first finger when you play a B minor, which is like this. So that's barring the first, second, and third string on the second fret, and then taking your third finger and putting it on the fourth string on the fourth fret. That's our B minor. Oh, that sounds like Hotel California.
Or maybe that, you know, I have to practice more barring within the notes more.
Yeah,
Because that's a problem for me, but I've been working on that.
Good. It's one of the more difficult things to do. That's one of the things, believe it or not, in guitar and in any stringed instrument, it's very difficult to bar more than one string. And on ukulele, it's the same thing.
I think what I realized, I guess not like on the B flat, I don't have to just bar the first two. I can bar more than that.
Right.
And that makes it easier when I realize, like, no, I don't have to try to contort that one finger. As long as I get the first two included,
right,
that makes a difference. Okay, cool. Thank you, Chris.
No problem. I hope that helped a little bit.
Yeah,
Paula.
it makes me feel a little better.
Good. I'm glad.
Question.
Yes.
You said now when it comes to a 4-string chord,
Yes.
you said that a chord is 3 notes.
Yes.
Now you can't leave out just any of the 4.
Well, okay, if you want to get really theoretical, right? If you're playing a 4-note chord, one of the notes is going to be doubled, right? So like a C major is C, E, and G, right? So if we put our finger down on the C, then the notes we have are G, C, E, C. So technically speaking, we're allowed to leave out this note, the note that our finger's on. So if we just play the second, third, and fourth string together, that's a C major. So yeah, technically speaking, you can't leave out, there's only really one note you should be able to leave out, in theory, right? And I mean literally in music theory. But if you do just leave out, let's say, the note that you're having trouble playing, let's say we leave out the G string for whatever reason, you're not playing, you're not putting a finger on the G string, but let's just do it, right? For a C major. Still sounds like a C. See what I mean? Even though it's a C, C, and an E. So it's not, they're still going to sound like the chord, basically. Even though it's 2 notes, technically speaking, it's still 3 notes. Does that make sense? So it's,
yeah.
So it's still what David is saying is that it's a little complicated, but there's really only one note that you should be able to leave out technically. It's the note that's going to be doubled. There are only 3 notes in a chord, in a major and minor chord, actually. In some other chords, there's 4 notes, right? Like a seventh chord. That's A, C, G. Oh no, that's an A major. Let me play an F. How do we play an F7? Let's play a G7 actually. So that's G, D, F, B. G, D, F, B is a G7th. So that one, you know, but if you leave out one note, it's not going to sound exactly like a 7th chord, but it's passable. You see what I'm saying? It'll still work in the song. So yes, you're absolutely correct that there really should only be one note that you should theoretically be able to leave out, but it'll work in the song if you leave out just one of those notes. If you leave out more than one, it'll start to break apart a little bit. It'll still sort of work though, even if you play like one note. I mean, it sort of will work. I know that sounds crazy, but it sort of, it's still in tune. It's still in the right, you know, maybe I'm being really optimistic here. I don't know. But you know, try to play all 4 notes.
Right.
But if you can't, it's fine. You'll be fine. Try to play at least 3 then. Like if you can do that, you're in good shape. You're in good
Sounds
shape.
good.
There you go. But yes, you're right. You are right to point that out. Yes. That's all. So Dee, did you have a question? Oh, I thought you raised your hand earlier. Sorry. Oh, you were just stretching? Okay. Just trying to find a comfortable position. I get that. All right. So we covered chords. That was good. What to do if you have trouble reaching a note or playing a note. What's next? What do you guys want to continue to go over? Anything is fair game. Any questions that you have is absolutely fair game.
Okay,
Okay, Dee, what do you got?
I do. I have the hardest time barring, and what I have to do is I have to turn my pointer finger onto the side, and then I can make it sound normal.
Right.
But if I do it flat on, it sounds horrible.
Well, that's an interesting point. The side of your finger is actually a little bit firmer than when your finger is flat, right? Like if you feel this part of your finger, it's a little bit meatier than the side of your finger. There's more bone here. So a lot of people actually do that, like turn their finger to one side or the other when they bar multiple strings. It's a normal thing to do. It's hard if you don't. No, go ahead, Dee.
Then I can't stretch my baby finger or any other fingers over to hit the other strings.
Well, if that's what's happening, that's a problem, right? Then you need to turn your finger, try to turn it a little bit towards the body of the. If you're turning it away from the body of the ukulele, that's what's giving you problems reaching. So like if I do that, you could see my reach is a lot less than if I turn it flat, right? It pulls my strings, my fingers all the way back here. That'll happen, and that's you know, so while I understand why it works when you lay the edge of your finger down, if it's giving you trouble, you have to try to turn it a little bit. What can help is keeping your finger and your thumb right next to each other through the neck, right? So imagine that the neck is in between my fingers. See, my thumb is right behind my finger. So when I'm pushing my first finger down to bar, I'm also pushing against the back with my thumb. And it's like a pinching motion. And that can help to prop your finger up against the fretboard, right? So if I demonstrate with the neck, I've got my finger straight across the 2nd fret, and my thumb is straight up and down in the same spot on the back of the neck, right? So I can push my thumb against my finger while I'm pushing my finger back against my thumb. And that makes it a little bit tighter of a grip on all those strings. And
yeah, but when you get to your finger to do like fret 4, string 4.
fret 4, string 4, and then bar the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd like this.
Yeah.
Like a B minor. Yeah, I'm doing the same thing though. I have my thumb right behind my first finger, and I'm reaching over with my 3rd finger to the 4th fret, 4th string. It's a stretch for sure.
I'm doing the bar. Listen.
Uh-huh.
That's not.
That's right.
It's like this 2nd string is dead.
Sounds like your ukulele is.
Unless I bring it. Now, if I put my finger to the side, see how much better it sounds?
Yeah, but you can't reach with your other fingers. I mean,
Right, I have to down.
right. If every chord was just a bar chord straight up across the neck, that would be fine. But unfortunately, it's not. So, but you have to know that even if you feel a little weak doing it now and you're not getting all the notes, that just by practicing it, there's certain muscles that need to be used when you press down against the fretboard, right? And that's not a motion that we do very often. So that those muscles are very weak in our hands we don't do this that much, right? What do we do when we call someone here? That's about it. I don't know, maybe typing in this direction. I don't know, but we don't use these fingers very often to do anything except swipe left and right on dating sites or whatever. But if you practice this, if you practice pushing against the fretboard while you're stretching your other fingers, you're going to stretch the tendons in your hand, and you're also going to develop the muscles in your index finger to push down a little harder. It takes time, but it's just like working out. When you first start, you can lift maybe 5 pounds, and then as you work out. Okay, yeah, Dave, I know it more than that, whatever. But I mean, I'm saying if you start off really, really slow, okay, really slow, and as you work it out, you'll be benching 500 pounds in a couple of months, no problem.
We'll keep trying. Thank you.
No problem. I know. I wish there was a better explanation or a better thing I could say to help, but unfortunately, that's about it when it comes to bar chords. That's why there's such a big frustration for everybody, is because there's no shortcut really for a bar chord, other than playing just 3 of the strings, and even then, that could be a little bit too much of a stretch, So yeah. Keep practicing, and you will definitely get that bar chord in the near future if you keep trying.
Okay.
All right, moving on. What else do we got? Anybody have anything?
Let me ask something.
Sure, Paula.
So is it the same idea? I have trouble. See, when I don't have my hand on I don't know if you can see my hand when I'm not playing, I can easily curl my fingers, but when I try to create chords, it's like they don't want to curl. I have trouble getting on the tips of my fingers.
Gotcha. So your fingers fingers are hitting the string sort of flat, right?
Yes, and E minor is a real hard one for me.
Yeah. I could see that.
Is that the same thing, practice?
I'm trying to think of it. There actually is a little bit of a trick that can help you though, for that sort of thing. If you should have your thumb again perpendicular to the neck, behind the neck, right? And if you do have it like this, up and down, you can move your thumb downwards, right? And what that'll do is not only will it will extend your reach, but it might also make it easier for you to get up on your fingertips, right? By sliding.
Yeah, I think that could be a lot of it, because I have a hard time not having my thumb all the way up. It's
all
like
the
when
way
I
at the
start
top.
when I put it on the back like that, it feels so awkward, and I feel like I'm gonna let go of the
ukulele, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people play with their thumb wrapped around the top like this, or sort of resting on the top. But if you look, that can make it very, very difficult for you to curl your fingers over.
Yeah.
Right? So changing how you're gripping the ukulele can be a huge change for how your fingers interact with the fretboard, right? It could make a very, very big difference. If you have smaller hands, big hands can wrap around the ukulele like this without much of a problem, but if you have a little bit smaller hands, or even a little bit wider hands, or something to that effect, if you have your thumb wrapped around the top or resting near the top, or some people have it like kind of shooting off to the side like this on the back of the neck, that all those things can make it very difficult for your reach, and make it difficult to get up on the tips of your fingers as well. And some people don't have much tip of their finger. It's just like a flat You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I've got plenty plenty fat here.
as long, hey, as long as if you got plenty of tip, that's good. But try
So I guess I
repositioning.
just need to tell my thumb to cooperate.
It's gonna feel weird at first, but
Yeah.
again, just like anything else, after some time, it'll feel weird to put it back on the top of the neck again.
Yeah.
You know, you'll get it to the point where it's working for you. Especially, give it a try, and if it makes it easier to get on the tips of your fingers, that'll give you the motivation to do it that way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because now you
Okay.
know that that's how I can make it work, right? I can make it work if I move my thumb down a little bit. That's when I get, again, from guitar, a major thing when my students don't have enough reach or can't get up on the tips of their fingers is move down your thumb. And actually that might help you, D, a little bit with your stretching problem when you have your finger down on its side. When you move your thumb down a little bit, that might actually help you reach the other notes. It might.
Thank you.
No problem, Paula. It may not. I'm not saying 100%, D. I'm not, but it could. It could. All right. Moving forward, I think we lost Jane. Moving forward. Anything else? Anybody have any other questions or issues or even something you're confused about or you want to know more about, maybe, any concept, anything like that. This is a class for people who during the week have a bunch of stuff come up that you're struggling with, that you can't, even if it's a specific song, anything like that. And if not, we can go back to that song that we were working on. What was the name of that? That Sinatra song that was Fred Astaire?
The way you
The
look
way
tonight.
you look
The Way
tonight.
You Look Tonight.
Yeah.
That's right. So if we don't have any more, questions, we could go and give that a shot. But I'll leave it open to you guys. Anything you want to talk about? No? Nothing? All right. No problem. We're going to take a look at The Way You Look Tonight. Now, I think we got through most of it. We'll go through each part one at a time, but go a little bit faster than we did last time. Last time we went very, very slowly through each and every chord. This time I think we're going to do it a little bit differently. Let me share my screen with you guys. Wait a minute. Oh, here it is. I couldn't find my share screen button. That was so weird. Okay, share. Nope, wrong one. Oh no, I got it. Okay, The Way You Look Tonight. So I'll play the first line and then we'll go over it. The intro is the first 4 chords and you play it twice. So it's something like this. Someday, when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you and the way you look tonight. Okay. No real bars in this, luckily, since bars were the topic of discussion at the beginning of this whole thing. Most of this can be played. There's one chord that's 4 fingers though, which is that 3rd chord in the D minor 7th. A D minor seventh is a D minor, a regular old D minor chord, where you reach over to the 3rd fret first string with your pinky as well. Now, some people might find that extraordinarily difficult. Your pinky is definitely your weakest finger on your hand, and your hand's already weak from, you know, not using it all this time to play the stuff you want to play. So let's see, I'm gonna make sure everyone's muted. Okay, so, oh, yes, Dee, can you unmute yourself, please?
On the second line, you've got the G, I can't see it, they're good, whatever, sus.
G minor, oh, well,
Yeah, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chords just for 3 words, or 2 words technically.
yeah, well,
How do you-
yeah, but it goes like this.
Transition.
Look tonight. So it's really only, so it's look tonight are those 3 chords, right? That you have to play in a row. So it's G sus 4, G 7th, G major 7th, then A minor 7 twice, D minor 7 twice, G 7th twice.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that G sus to G 7th to C major 7th is actually a lot easier than it looks, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
So if you play a G 7th chord and just move your 3rd finger to the 3rd fret instead of the 2nd fret, that's a G sus, a G7 sus, right? Just playing a G7th, let me unshare quickly.
Yeah.
So just playing a G7th and moving your 3rd finger to the 3rd fret, like that. And then the next chord is a G7, so you just move your 3rd finger back 1 fret to the 2nd fret.
Okay.
And then to play the C major 7th, you just pick up your 1st and 2nd finger and leave your 3rd finger down, and you got a C major 7th. So it's really only like this. It's pretty easy, those 3 chords. It looks complicated at the first glance, but it's not so hard. And then once you get to the C major 7th, you're playing that 1, 2, A minor 2, D minor 7th 2, G 7th 2. And that gives you a little bit more time to switch. All right. Let's see here. Guys, give me 1 second. I need to use the restroom. Pardon me. I'll be right back.
Okay, the teacher's gone. What can we do?
Whisper behind his back.
Okay, all right. There you go. And David's gone too. Oh my goodness. Oh, here he is. You're muted, David. You're muted. David, you're muted. You're muted.
Oh, for goodness. Oh, we can't even talk about Chris because he's recording it.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So be careful, everyone. Be careful.
All right, Paula, we're in trouble now.
We are in trouble.
Oh, boy.
And look at Ken sitting back there like an innocent little child.
Oh, he's just waiting for, he's just waiting to play You Are My Sunshine.
Oh yeah. That's beyond the scope of this class, Ken. That's a little too complex for us, unfortunately.
That's the song I use to warm up every time I play every day.
That's great, and that's a great song for that.
Yeah.
To get you into the playing mode, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's actually a good point to talk about briefly. What that means, what warming up even means, right? And why musicians warm up, why vocalists warm up. You'll hear when you first go to an orchestra, you'll hear people in the pit, right? They're tuning, they're warming up, they're playing a little bit. If you go backstage at a concert, you'll hear the vocalist doing all kinds of weird stuff. I mean, I worked with a singer who used to bark. Like, yeah, like he would bark the scale like woof, 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 but only more like a dog than woof. Yeah, it worked. It works for him. He was a fantastic singer. So whatever, man, I'm not gonna judge you, but you'll hear all kinds of crazy stuff backstage. And the reason that people warm up is because it gets you to the point where you're at your best, right? When you come into something totally cold, and you haven't been singing all day, you're not in that mode. You're not breathing properly. Your voice isn't quite right. And it's the same thing when you're playing. Your fingers are cold. They're not stretched out at all. Your strumming hand might be a little cold. So, it's not really working with you. You don't have the right blood flow in your hands. So playing a simple song and getting to move like that, a song very, very well, will get you prepared to play more complicated stuff, right? And stuff that's a little more difficult for you. It'll get you stretched, so warming up works very well we've actually never really spoken about that. So I'm glad you brought that up, Dee, because warming up is important when you play. It could also, depending on the instrument you play, certain instruments, warming up is necessary to even avoid injury. I mean, if you're playing something like a stand-up bass, where you have to use like your whole body to play it, you better warm up before you start playing that, stuff like that. Even something like the piano. I mean, you can get a cramp in your hand. There's all kinds of weird stuff that can happen. So warming up, very, very important to warm up. Excellent, Dee. All right. So we could do now the first two lines. We'll play it together, and you guys can tell me if there's any part of that gives you any trouble. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna mute everybody and share the screen. This one, share. Okay. So just to warm up, we'll play the first four chords twice. Okay. So 1. And the strum I'm using is a down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, even going from the D minor 7th to the G7 sus, I just noticed that all you really have to do is pick up your second finger. And you have a G sus. But moving your pinky down to the 2nd fret might be a little difficult for most people to do, to play the G7th after that. So maybe switch to the right fingering for the G7 sus. But did anyone have any trouble with any part of that you want to go over in more detail? Nobody, huh? All right, excellent. So we'll do it one more time, but this time with the lyrics, and we'll skip the intro. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Someday, when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold, I will feel the glow just thinking of you and the way you look tonight. Excellent. Now, the next two lines, there's some, yes. Yaya and David, you want to unmute? There you
Okay.
go.
Every time I want to talk, David put mute, so I couldn't talk.
No problem.
All right, the second line, the way you look tonight,
Yes.
it's so the G7, C major 7, is that one stroke or two stroke?
Okay, so the G7 sus is
Yeah.
one stroke.
Okay.
The G7th is one stroke.
Uh-huh.
And the C major second is, it's technically two, but it's down, down, up, right? So it goes like this. Look, sorry, let me get that right. The way you look tonight.
Okay.
So it goes G7, G7 sus,
And then
look
G7.
tonight, right? So it's G7, G7, C major 7.
Oh, okay.
G7 sus, G7, C major 7. And then the last four notes, four chords are C major 7th, A major 7th, E minor 7th, G7. So
All right.
yeah, so the look tonight are the ones that have a single stroke each, right? Well,
Right.
look and two are really the only ones that have a single stroke.
Yeah, look and two, one each.
One each.
One
Yep.
stroke.
Yep.
Okay.
Look
All right.
tonight. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. No problem. Thank you for asking. Okay.
So is that, I'm sorry, so is that the same there in the middle of you and?
Let's see. I will feel the glow just thinking of you. And
No, those are, okay,
no, those are two each, because you hold you for two beats, right?
Yeah.
Of is two beats. Of you and the way. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2. Of you. They're two beats each. So it's only when you got one beat on the syllable before the next word that you need to worry about that single stroke, right? So that only.
so that's where, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Because, so that's where we go back to what you told us a couple lessons ago. You gotta listen to the song
Boom.
and let the
Exactly.
song tell you.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And as you're listening to the song, you could be, not should, but you could be counting the beats, especially when you get a little bit confused about something, right? Listen to how the music is flowing behind the words, right? And the chords in this song are basically perfectly lined up to the word where you're supposed to be playing them. I'm singing the words a little bit loosely because I'm used to like the Sinatra, Michael Bublé kind of version. So I'm being a little bit too loose with the words. Maybe I shouldn't be. But you know, because he plays with it a little bit, the phrasing, you know. But yeah, maybe I'll be a little bit more rigid with that. I don't want to confuse you. But even listening to the one that's on, you know, the Fred Astaire version from that movie, I'm not sure which movie it is, but if you look up, I want to unmute yourself and say that, David.
Swing Time.
Swing Time. That's the name of the movie. Fred Astaire sings "The Way You Look Tonight" to the lead lady there, and she swoons, of course.
Ginger Rogers.
There we go.
Swing time or swing time?
Swing Time.
Swing time.
That's
Okay.
right. Yes, and you could find that on YouTube. And if you can't find the full movie, which I'm pretty sure it actually is up on YouTube, you can definitely find the song. So if you put in "The Way You Look Tonight," Fred Astaire, you'll see a black and white clip at the very top there. That's the movie. That's the scene from the movie where he sings the song. And that's probably the best one to work out the timing of each thing and the beats, because he's much more rigid with it. If you listen to Michael Bublé or somebody like that, he's going to go, "Someday when I'm awfully low," you know, like he'll do something like that. And it's a little harder to get how you're supposed to be playing it, you know? Yeah. All right. So that's the first two lines. Let's look at the second, the third and fourth line. Second two lines. Oh, but you're lovely with your smile so warm and your cheeks so soft. There's nothing for me but to love you, just the way you look through the night. Ooh, ooh, tricky last four chords. So, oh, but you're lovely with your smile so warm and your cheeks so soft are basically the first line again, right? Essentially. It's just, it starts with a C major seventh, then goes to the A minor seventh, but from the A minor seventh on, it's the first line again. Second line is pretty much identical until you get to that C major seventh, and then the last three chords, it's a E flat diminished, F minor seventh, and a B flat seventh. Very weird looking chords. Now there's two ways, I think we talked about this last Monday, but that's okay to go over it, right? There's two ways that you can play these chords. When you see a chord with four fingers like this, right? Because it looks like four fingers. You can play it with four fingers or you could play it with three. And the four finger way is literally putting one finger on each one of those dots. So like so, right? So I've got my index finger on the 2nd fret 4th string, my second finger on the 2nd fret 2nd string, third finger on the 3rd fret 3rd string, and pinky on the 3rd fret 1st string. That's an E flat diminished. And the second chord, you leave your 3rd and 4th finger in place and move your 1st and 2nd finger to the 1st fret. A little bit tough. And then to play that B flat 7th, that's the same no matter how you play it. You're going to bar that 1st fret and put your 2nd finger down on the 2nd fret 3rd string. That's how you get that B flat 7. Okay. Now, the way to play it with 3 fingers is interesting because it's what we talked about at the beginning for a little while, which is barring, right? So for the E flat diminished, you could bar the 2nd fret and then put your either 2nd and 3rd or 3rd, well, 2nd and 3rd is probably your best bet, on the 3rd fret 3rd string and 3rd fret 1st string, 2nd and 3rd finger respectively, while barring straight down the 2nd fret. Then to play the F minor 7th, you move that bar down 1 fret to the 1st fret and leave your other 2 fingers in place. And now to play the B flat 7, you simply take your 2nd finger and move it down 1 fret to the 2nd fret, 3rd string, and you pick up your 3rd finger. So you're barring the 1st fret, 2nd finger on the 2nd fret, 3rd string. That's a B flat 7. And next, the next couple lines are really tough too, but we're gonna play through the 3rd and 4th together, and then let me know if there's any part of that that you'd like to go over in some more detail. Okay. What's that?
Probably all of it again and again.
This is a very advanced song. This is a very advanced song. So if you're having trouble with it as a beginner, it's 100% understandable. You know, This song
Okay.
is difficult, but it's worth learning. And if you
Yeah.
learn to play this song straight through, you'll have solved your barring problem. You'll have solved your rhythm issues. You know, you'll solve all your problems if you learn this song from beginning to end. Honestly, I know that sounds crazy, but if you could play this straight through, you're doing pretty well on the ukulele, because it's hard. It is hard. But we're gonna give it a try anyhow. The third and fourth line here. 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, but your love. Oh, screwed it up, I think. Yeah. Lovely. I sang it too high. 1, 2, 3. Oh, but you're lovely. With your smile so warm and your cheeks so soft. There is nothing for me but to love you, just the way you look tonight. There we go. So that last part, that's tough, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a lot of chords crammed in there into a couple of measures. Definitely difficult. Yeah. Does anybody have any part of that other than D? Sorry, that we need, because I know you want to go over it again and again. But does anybody else have something they want to go over in those parts that isn't just going over it again and again?
Well, I would like to try and print it, but I can't do it from where I'm at.
You don't have a printer?
Yeah, but
All you have to
anything
do, I'll send you the link one more time. Okay. Open link in your tab. Okay, let's see.
I believe it's in the pipeline.
yeah,
It
I'm
is.
having trouble with the songbook in the pipeline. It only goes up to so far and then it doesn't do it. My Nancy has the same problem.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. Well, here's what I'll do. In the chat window here. Where
Maybe
is
I'll
it?
just send it to Dee as an attachment to an email.
Oh, you did?
No, but I could do that. Maybe that's easier for her to print it out.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, you could send it as an attachment. So that way all you have to do is download it as the attachment or open it and then print it that way. There should be a print icon at the very top. You have to mouse over it on my computer though. So at first you don't see it.
Yeah, I know how to print. So, but
Okay.
I just can't print because it's on your screen, not mine.
Okay, cool. No problem.
Thank you, Herb.
No problem.
Well, we only have a few minutes left, and I'm not going to dive into the next couple of lines until we actually have some time to go over them, because the next part is the bridge, and it's tough. It's a tough little bridge, but we'll get to that again next week, and then we'll finish the song off. So this week, what I'd like you guys to do, if you don't mind, is either come up with some more questions that you have or some more concepts you'd like to talk over, or send in or bring a song that you'd like to do that you find a little bit complicated, that you think is a little out of your reach, and I'd be glad to go over it with you and give you some tips on how to complete it and how to play the song. And if not, I think Vicky sent me a few, so I could always look into that list and see what might be available for us to go over. That's sort of like The Way You Look Tonight level complex. Otherwise, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you very much for being here today. I hope you all learned something good.
Yeah. And we'll,
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You got it. You got it, Wei Feng. You're welcome.
Yep, see you tomorrow.
See you
Bye.
tomorrow, Ken. I'll see everybody tomorrow, I hope. Take care, everyone.